So nearby, Lucas, we're recording this on the first day of Pride Month. You ready to talk about gaming's most famous twink?
Most famous? Is that what we're going for?
I'd argue he's gaming's most famous twink. Is there a twink more famous than Link? Link the Twink?
I don't know.
Unless you're playing him in like that Dynasty Warriors clone where he's like Link the Twonk. He's just eating rocks.
No, it's Long the Twonk.
Long the Twonk. He's Long from Pennsylvania, the Twonk. In terms of sheer recognisability, it's arguable. With the exception of Mario, Link is one of gaming's most iconic and enduring mascots. Would you agree with that?
What about Sonic the Hedgehog, Carl?
I guess Sonic's up there.
So I could have said Pikachu, but I knew I had to say Sonic just for you.
Okay, I'll rephrase that then. Except for Mario, he's Nintendo's most iconic and enduring mascot.
I get whether you want to count Pikachu or not, because it's Game Freak, but yeah, he's up there.
In regards to first-party Nintendo games, an impressive feat when you consider that virtually everything about the character of Link is supposed to be a mystery, to the point where you're not even supposed to know whether or not he's got a dick. So, Lucas, you are a huge fan of the Legend of Zelda series, yes?
I am indeed, yes.
Like, you like the character of Link?
Yeah.
You like Link, you like Long with Twonk. You know what, Long with Twonk, put it in the comments, I like it. And we're talking about this partially today because you like the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom just came out. It's Pride Month, so let's talk about Twinks. But also, we're advertising the launch of our new channel, Wiki Weekends, on which we did talk about Link, but we're not sure if that'll be out yet or not.
Probably not, considering the backlog that we've got, but we've just recorded one about Link.
So if you want to see us talk more about Link as a character, you can go check out the Wiki Weekends link below. But
click the link for more Link.
Click the link for more Link the Twink. Click the long for more. I'm really giggling at the idea of Long the Twonk. That's really tickled me.
That's like the dark side, the low rule version of Link the Twink, just Long the Twonk.
Long the Twonk is really tickling me. And one of the things that I find really impressive about Link as a character is that he's been in, 35 years of video games?
I think now it's like 37 or something like that, yeah.
And he's one of gaming's most enduring and popular characters. He has said 2 words in that entire time. And do you know what those 2 words are, Lucas? You should, because it's the alarm for your phone.
It is the alarm for my phone, indeed. And, like, we're not counting those, like, the animated series of, like, excuse me, princess.
Yeah, we're not. I'll put the clip in, but that...
Excuse me, princess.
Nintendo themselves say they're not canon. So in Zelda canon, Link has canonically said 2 words. And those words are...
Well, I mean, Carl, as it's my alarm, maybe I'll set a timer for, like, a minute.
Okay.
And in a minute...
No, set an alarm for 5 minutes. So we can, we'll forget that it's there. And while Lucas is doing that, I'm going to let everyone know at home why this is so annoying for me. Because Lucas has had this alarm, I want to say for 10 years. As long as I've known you, this has been your alarm.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Lucas is a horrendous person for waking up in the morning. So think about, like, having a hangover when you're, like, 20 years old after, like, an absolutely brutal night of drinking and playing Smash Bros. Imagine... It's 9 o'clock in the morning and you hear the alarm that's going to play in a few minutes for an hour straight.
I know I'm bad at waking up. And
it's not exaggeration.
I do apologise, but yeah, like, normally it gets me up, but it was always the one where it's like...
On a night out, yeah.
On a night out after we've been drinking and playing Smash till like 6 a.m.
And all I can hear is... And the thing is, well, you do that thing where... You refuse to get up because getting up's going to make you like lose some of the tired that you have, but you can't sleep. And it reminds me like the story I told like earlier on the channel, like way back when, about the John Wayne, John Wayne. This is more annoying than that.
John Wayne, you know John Wayne?
John Wayne.
John Wayne, you know John Wayne?
John Wayne.
Yeah, John Wayne, man, the Duke. Hang out with the Duke.
John Wayne.
And when I'm bringing it back to Link, in addition to only saying 2 words in the entirety of his gaming career, it's also worth noting that he's basically the aging metalhead in a bar of gaming, in that he's rocked the same look since the 1980s.
And obviously Breath of the Wild did have a big departure from that, but even in that game, you are able to like get different tunics of different links. And then even the completion bonus for like doing all the shrines, I think it was you get the Tunic of the Wild, which is Breath of the Wild's version of the green tunic.
And there's probably someone out there saying, but Link looks different in every game. It's like he's wearing the same outfit, it's just a different art style. Like for the most part, he always wears that green tunic, those boots, those long pointy ears and that floppy hat.
Yeah, and there's always like minor differences. Like you can see that, you know, the Twilight Princess one has some chainmail. It's a bit more realistic looking. Where, you know, the Minish cap, the hat is actually a magical hat that talks to you. But the iconic green tunic has always remained like similar in design, and the idea of like the green garb being the hero's, you know,
Uniform.
Uniform,
of sorts,
yeah.
And the idea that, like, basically he's retained the exact same design for 35 years. He's really impressive. There's very few characters in, like, the spheres of gaming who've managed that. Mario, but even Mario's gone through a few costume changes that I'd argue are more of a radical departure from his actual, like, you know, mainline base outfit than Link has had. There's Pikachu, who, like, you know, got buccal fat removal.
And
Buccal fat removal, I don't know how to pronounce that word, I just know that's the word for that weird plastic surgery people are getting.
got the gastro band as well, you know, lost a bit of weight. And then also had the Sun and Moon, was it, where he had a bunch of different dress-up designs of like the Lucha Libre outfit, the Rockstar outfit. I can't remember whether it was Sun and Moon or X and Y, but
and surfing Pikachu, whereas Link has always been wearing that green tunic and that green hat, with the the notable exception of Breath of the Wild, where he wears blue.
Yeah, and you can kind of look at Link wearing the tunic of the Wild in Breath of the Wild, compare that to the drawings of original, like, The Legend of Zelda Link, and considering the amount of time between them, that character looks very similar.
Yeah, the only other character I can think who's, like, refused to change as hard as Link is Ryu, because Ryu is never taking that fucking gi off.
Well, you know, there is when he goes shirtless and grows a beard and becomes Daddy Ryu.
Just becomes wider than a car door. But that's the thing, though. Link is the twink, Ryu's the twonk. There we go.
Ryu's like the bear of bears.
He is, like, Ryu is so... I just call him car door, man.
God, in that new, like, the reveal trailer for Street Fighter 6, like, how wide is that man?
It's like ultra wide screen monitor Ryu. He's not really can't hurt you. Ultra wide screen monitor Ryu just stepping in. And according to the people who make Legend of Zelda games, the most radical departure they ever took from Link's, like, design is Twilight Princess. God, that's giving me, like, put it next to the mic.
Oh dear.
That's like a Pavlovian response in me. Like, people will see that when that happened, I had like a visceral, immediate reaction. Imagine that 4 times louder for 3 hours after a night out.
As I just refuse to acknowledge its existence.
But you know,
I apologise, Carl. I'm sorry I gave you like PTSD.
People probably see, like, you know, that war flashbacks of like, oh god, no. You know, I imagine, like, I'm wearing headphones, one ear that, and the other ear like, John Wayne! You know John Wayne! God, maybe I'll do an edit of that and I'll combine them both and just play it forever.
John Wayne, you know John Wayne? 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 John Wayne, you know John Wayne?
The most radical departure from Link's design, according to the people who make Legend of Zelda games, is Twilight Princess. And there might be people out there who disagree. So, well, he wears blue in Breath of the Wild. He has, like, you know, his arms missing in Tears of the Kingdom. I'm quoting the people who make Zelda games here. Do you want to hazard a guess at why they think that is the most radical departure from his original design?
I was about to say because he's right-handed, but he's canonically still left-handed in the proper version, the GameCube version. I guess maybe, again, because he's, like, armoured more up.
It's the more realistic art style, and specifically that realistic art style made Link look more masculine. Like, if you look at pictures of, like, Twilight Princess, which I'll put behind me, you don't need to look at them because you can picture them in your head.
I've literally just played through that game.
Like, Link has, like, more defined, like, sharper features. He has, like, more obvious musculature. I hate this word. Musculature. He's got, like, more defined physique. He's got, like, not overt, but he does have that, like, you know, that slight triangular build that is, like, classically seen as being male.
And he
like,
does
the broad shoulders, the thin waist.
Yeah, he does also start the game shirtless, where, like, you can kind of see he's got some, like, shoulder pec muscles kind of implied. He's not, like, massive by any means, but he's definitely, he's a bit more masculine than other Links, even while still having that kind of semi-androgynous, elvish kind of look.
And he is, as you mentioned, still quite androgynous, but the designers for that game said that this is probably the most radical departure from Link's design, because he's androgynous, but it's more male than it is female in his design. He has, like, you know, the strong jawline, like you said, like the built, defined pecs, the slightly more, like, you know, masculine, like, body shape, and they didn't like that. So that's the only time they've ever done it.
Yeah, and it's wild to me that they've said that after Wind Waker just came out, like the game before, where he's like become Toon Link, which is such a radical departure that he's literally called like Toon Link instead of Link in a lot of...
He's only 2 foot tall.
You know, different variations, like Smash Bros. Refers to him as Toon Link. But yeah, I do understand like both arguments there of like, you know, Toon Link or Twilight Princess being the more changed design. It's just, yeah, I think Miyamoto was very against the Wind Waker change in the art style and how childish it looked. And then kind of with a bit of backlash to Wind Waker happening at the time with its art style, like
they thought grim dark is the way.
He wanted to push way more towards that kind of westernized, more, you know, edgy, teenage darkness kind of look and make it, you know, a lot more quote unquote realistic art style. And that was kind of Miyamoto's choice at the time to kind of, you know, try and get more interest in the series, and it did work because it became like one of the more popular Zelda games at the time.
And in regards to Link's design, like the move away from making Link have a very androgynous appearance was something the designers didn't like, and they have walked it back in the time since and have refused to ever like make Link look that masculine ever again. And for anyone out there who's wondering like, why is this important? I think it's really important and very interesting because they have deliberately always tried to make Link look as androgynous as possible, to the point where, in the Breath of the Wild reveal, a lot of people assumed we now had a female playable Link, yes.
Yeah, people saw the ponytail and, again, just super androgynous look of Breath of the Wild Link, and it became a conversation of, is Link a girl? Is Link selectable gender now, which would be my favorite version because it just doesn't really matter to the character. Like, I guess he's always been a guy, but apart from like a couple of times where in the lore it's implied that like maybe Zelda and Link got together and had direct descendants, but maybe not. It's kind of, I don't know if there's ever an actual definitive statement that ever happens, but like I guess that might be important in those games, but for the most part, it doesn't really matter.
Well, it's something we've talked about before, isn't it? Like a lot of the Legend of Zelda games are like recollections of this legendary hero, and
it's the legend of what happened. Yeah,
and the only thing that really matters is that Link is courageous, so much so they have the Triforce of Courage, and that they save the day.
Yeah,
like their actual like gender is of no real importance to the story, and I've always liked the idea that people can read Link that way, and the designers like that too. According to the long-time producer of the series, whose name I always get wrong, so Lucas, it's
Eiji Aonuma.
That guy has said like we really like that behind the scenes because we like the idea that a majority of people can like, you know, imprint themselves upon Link. Like they say,
silent protagonist.
Silent. That's one of the reasons. Yeah, he's silent. He never speaks because if he never speaks, then in your head you can imagine what his characterization is like. And what Inuma has said is that while Link is canonically male, we kind of like that people can read him either way. And that means when people play the game who identify more as female, like they can imprint themselves upon Link, even though, you know, he's canonically male, and they like that because more people can play and enjoy the game and enjoy the character.
Yeah, and again, Breath of the Wild Link being one of the most androgynous examples of Link's design, and how many people on the internet just like lost their shit when they saw the Hylian disguise Link, for example, and like so many people got very into fan art for Breath of the Wild Link because just no matter what outfit you put them in, they look hot in some way.
And I know, while we're talking about someone in the comments, I'm like, well, what about Linkle? There is a female Link, so let's address that. There is a character called Linkle who looks like Link and is a girl. However, that character is canonically not Link. They are a character who thinks they are the hero and are not. And it's the producer of the series has said that is not Link.
that is also not even canon because it was Hyrule Warriors, which is not a Nintendo game. It's not official canon to the series or anything. It's essentially that, like, I think it was is it Team Ninja that make the Warriors games? Yeah.
But someone's going to mention that, but we did have a female Link one.
But it's like, but even in that game, it was a girl who was convinced that she was the hero, wore the green garb, and went out and got, like, mocked by her townspeople and stuff, thinking she was the hero. Turned out she actually wasn't. So yeah, even in that, like, you know, completely made up story that isn't canon, the female equivalent of Link isn't actually the hero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we mentioned, because someone will say, what about Link? I was like, yeah, we get it.
And Linkle's a cool character and a cool design, and I like the play style with the dual crossbows.
I'd love for them to be canon. I'd love for us to have, like, you know, canon female Link. But I love the idea that the creators of the series are like, yeah, we design Links specifically to look that way because we like that fans can do that. There's an idea of just how deep this, like, design philosophy runs. The very first Legend of Zelda game, you probably know where I'm going with this, Lucas. Remember, like, that now legendary misdrawn art that was official of Link with pink hair?
Oh, is it concept art, or is it just that, like,
it was from a strategy
Link
guide
in A Link to the Past has pink hair?
Yes, it was, like, very early like strategy guides for early Legend of Zelda games, extrapolated based on the sprites that were in that game of what Link might look like, and they drew, like, long pink-haired Link with a bow and arrow, and it looks fucking sick. And that's the thing, that was like an official strategy guide. Even the people making the strategy guides didn't know. And I think that's great. I love that idea. Yeah. You know, Link, just androgynous twink icon, let's go.
Yeah, and, like, I know, for example, the original design was, like, kind of inspired by Peter Pan, but it very quickly diverged away from that and became its own thing, and just, why can't we just get a game where we pick the gender of Link? Like, why does it matter?
Well, that's the thing, because it doesn't, does it? Because, like, the gender of Link is incidental, and there's probably someone out there who's mad about this.
Yeah, of course.
There always is, and I don't care. Fuck you, it's Pride Month, eat my ass. With a spoon, all of it, let's go. But we can't not mention the fact that this design philosophy is quite popular in video games, and we've got to mention my boy, Raiden. Raiden from Metal Gear. So that's another one we've talked about before, but for people who don't know, Raiden from Metal Gear was introduced in Metal Gear Solid 2 as a direct result to the people making the game going, why don't girls like Metal Gear Solid? Why do they not like Solid Snake? He is everything a man wants to be. He's gruff, he's got a beard, he's got, you know, that voice. He's got that voice.
He has got that iconic voice, but that's not necessarily what women want in a man.
Exactly, yeah. And the reason I love this is because it keeps happening in media, where men will insist that they know what women like, and then they'll ask women, and they'll say the exact opposite, and then they'll get confused. So with Raiden, they asked a bunch of women, do you like Snake? And like, well, I guess he's all right. He's a bit old. He's gruff, and he smokes. We don't like that. And you actually see that in Metal Gear Solid 2 when they introduce Raiden. If he smokes and calls his girlfriend, which is something else that, you know, is one thing, like a guy who calls his girlfriend when he's at work. Yeah. You'll say he's trying to quit smoking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and also, you know, he has the similar body type to Link in most of the games. You know, he's clearly in shape, but he's lithe, he's agile, and to the point, and, you know, he's androgynous to the point where some characters assume he's a woman.
Oh, right, okay.
You have, like, the president, I think it is, where he meets him and grabbed Raiden's crotch. Sexual harassment in the workplace, fuck you. And Raiden's like, what are you doing? He's like, you're a guy?
What are you... What the...
You're a man? Well, who are you?
No.
Yeah, do you not remember that?
I do not remember that.
You also have the fact that Raiden is super proud of his long, luscious locks, to the point where if you call up, it's Emmerich, if you call her up, or if you listen to her with the microphone, she'll say, that Raiden guy, he's kind of cute, but what's with that weird hair? He calls her up angrily and says, that's my real hair. I grew this myself.
He's easy on the eyes, though, so I guess I can let that slide. But I got my own ideas about that hair. I wonder if it's... well, it must be. I could ask him later, but he'd probably get ticked off. I'll leave him alone.
About what you said behind that column there.
What are you talking about?
Can I just say something?
Sure.
This is my real hair, okay?
Of course. As if I said anything about that.
And, you know, in a very Hideo Kojima way, not treating the female characters properly, they've also made Raiden needlessly naked, as well as a bunch of female characters.
And I do like that it is canon that Raiden has a big, massive swinging dick. It's canon that Raiden's got a big dick. I love that. It's so funny.
No problem here. Huh? Wish I had that.
It's so funny. It makes that, like, we don't know what Snake's packing, but we do know what Raiden's packing. And apparently he got the schmeat. He's got that Metal Gear schmeat on the go.
Is that the real reason that the naked cartwheel exists?
the old just gooch annihilator.
The ultimate windmill. Just make yourself the windmill.
I know there's people out there who are mad about this, and I'm going to ask them a question now. Why are you mad that more people can enjoy the thing you base your entire personality around? Why is that upsetting to you? Why would you not want as many people as possible to enjoy the hobby which you like dedicate the majority of your waking time to?
Yeah, I never get the whole gatekeeping thing. I get excited when people also like the things I like.
Yeah, and the other one I like as well is, like, just in regards, we talked about Link being imagined to be female by fans and them drawing like fan art of it. Like, Tears of the Kingdom just came out, and I saw some great fan art going round of like people saying, "Oh, it's in my head that Link is trans," and it's like I'd never thought of that with Link, but the fan art looks really good, and I like the idea that there are people out there who are interpreting media that I like in a way I'd never considered, because then I get to experience the media I like from an entirely new perspective. I get to enjoy it all over again and get to have a discussion about it, that I get to learn something about it. I get a perspective from someone else's point of view that can give me an insight that I maybe not considered. And again, I'd ask the people who get angry about this, why do you not want that? All you do all day is talk about these things. All you do is talk about Star Wars, video games, anime, and then you bitch out everyone who has a different opinion and wants to talk about it from a perspective that you don't have.
The only time I'll bitch about it is when people say that One Piece isn't political.
Oh, that one's great. That is so good.
That's the time I'll get angry about it.
That's so good, but yeah. Like, happy Pride Month, everybody. We don't get any Pride merch or anything like that, because you know what? It's Pride all year round at Fact Fiend. I should have worn my like Luke's wearing.
We probably should sort that out, but yeah, not specifically to jump on the trend of Pride Month and take it away at the end.
Wiki Weekend, its logo is a rainbow.
That's true.
Also, if you go to my streams and Luke's streams, we have emotes for followers. I have Gay Pride Armstrong. So I've got like shirtless buff Armstrong with the Gay Pride flag behind him.
And I have like a little, pixel art gif of me holding my dog, and my dog's holding some pride flags.
Yeah. Because you know what? Like, there are people out there who enjoy that, and there are people out there it annoys, and I'm glad that he does both of those things. I'm glad that the people from minority groups like that feel welcome watching my content and interacting with me. And I'm also glad that the people who disagree with doing that don't want to watch my stuff anymore.
I'm glad that it winds up the bigots, yeah.
It's so good.